Here we go during this beautiful season to talk about something that we all need to be aware of and understand that it happens whether we like it or not, ready or not, change comes. And our beautiful guest today is an expert in this field. She has been a change management consultant most of her career. She is a mom, she is a grandmother, she is a friend, she is vibrant, she is full of joy, she is super wise, and she has lived her life on the cusp of change. She's really good at it, which is why the Lord allows her to empower other people that are a little slower to get there, like me. She comes alongside and helps. So Barb, I want to get up and just hug you and kiss you, but you said not to do that.
No, I said not to shake hands. I might be okay with the hug. No.
Okay, well, let's high five. Is that
There
good?
we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so you change management consultant.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, first off, it's a misnomer, okay? Because anybody that's lived any time on this planet knows you don't manage change.
Yeah, that
right?
is true.
So really what it is it's a person who is a change response manager.
Okay.
So really what we get to do is respond to change that is inevitable, just like you said. And most people's issues with change isn't that they hate change, they hate not knowing how to handle it. They hate not knowing how to respond to it effectively. So I get to help with that. I get to help with organizations go through changes and people go through changes in a way that's not so traumatic.
And pastors go through changes.
And friends.
And pastors that the Lord said, I have a new mantle for you.
And boy, hasn't that happened this year, right?
You help those kind of people.
That's the ones.
So I'm a recipient. I'm one of your students. Hopefully, I don't want to see my report card yet. Give me a few more months to respond to change.
Yeah, I think you're doing extraordinarily well. And again, this lately has come at most people like a hurricane. Right? So they were doing okay to a point, and then all of a sudden change has just become so overwhelming, like a tsunami, that I think even folks that were pretty okay with it are having some struggles now, which is why I thought it would be a great Christmas present to help people get maybe a little bit better at responding.
Okay, why and how did God call you out of everyone on the planet to address this topic and come alongside businesses, ministers, humans, and help them with this process? What prepared you for it?
Well, I'm not sure you can get prepared for it. But one thing that we know is that probably about 75% of the planet doesn't like change and is more built to stay the same than to change. 25% are out there thinking change is fun.
Yes.
I happen to be in that group.
Yes, you are.
You probably couldn't tell.
I think you're the top 5%, 3% of the 25%.
Right. Yeah. So I naturally like change, and I get tired if things stay the same too long. So I think that was a gift of God to design me this way.
Right.
But pay attention, 3/4 of the planet is more anchored than the 25%. That's God's balance, right? So he's not calling everybody to change all the time for fun. He really intends for most of us to live most of our lives in patterns, in a comfortable place, and then to be effective when change comes. Because really, we're designed for change. Humans are about the only species that is, right? Migratory birds don't get to decide whether they go or they don't.
Right, that's true.
And a plant that's not getting water and not getting the sunshine it needs doesn't get to uproot and go move, right? Humans do. When we don't like where we are, we actually have been gifted with an ability to change. And most of the time, we like change. It's just some changes that take us by surprise. And those are the ones that I want us to basically talk about today, help people get a little better at responding to the surprise ones that aren't so pleasant.
So what have you found in your experience, both as a businesswoman, as a mom, as a grandmother, and as an intercessor? What are those changes that you have come alongside and helped people with the most?
Probably things that people would say that's a bad change. Unemployment was probably the one that I did most often early. Job loss is just something people fear. And society pretty much says every time it happens, it's going to be a disaster. And so folks are just naturally not oriented to thinking a time of unemployment could possibly be a blessing. So imagine my surprise when I started doing job ministries and found out that God could use that season of unemployment, that really bad change, to do fabulously good things in people's lives. So I think that started me on the idea of, okay, there's something here. And then I had the experience where I was an outplacement consultant. Do you know what that is?
No.
These are people that help when a company has laid a bunch of folks off and they're all freaked out.
Right.
They come to an outplacement firm, and counselors help them get their resumes together, get themselves together, and get them new jobs.
Like rebrand them.
Rebrand them or refresh them or get them confidence, practice interviewing, those sorts of things. So I was in a company that's what they did. And I trained
Wow.
people who lost their jobs. And the company, unbeknownst to me, said, we think we'd like to go into a new field called change and transition management. And they were pitching it to clients to see whether there was any interest. And one of the clients went, yes, and we need you now. And so they signed a contract, came back and said, Barb, we have a new practice area and you're it. And so you're going to get on a plane and start flying to Mississippi and help a medical center there go through a big organizational change. Tag, you're it. And so suddenly I'm like, wow, I don't know how to do this. Thank God, Holy Spirit does.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun helping people go through that change and not lay off tons of people and not traumatize people and not have it be awful.
Yeah.
And I was amazed, and it was all Holy Spirit leading. I wasn't trained. I was just literally being led. But to see at the end of 9 months, the client said, your little piece of this project is what made it a success.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I'm hooked.
That's
so
awesome.
That's where change management in my career started. And so unemployment, career changes, and then it's moved into other things, divorces, kid problems, you name it. Significant change is always going to go through the same kind of a process, and it's always going to respond really well to the same kind of solutions that God has.